homework 7. Let's just go over a few of them and give you some strategies that might help. I really just want to start a few of them, but once we get to the point where we know how to solve them already, I'll just leave them at that. So first one I really want to look at is number 6. Okay, so take a snapshot of that. Work on another page here. There we go. Okay, so what you want to do first is simplify the same side. Okay, simplify the same side. So if there's any variables or numbers that are on the same side, right, so there's a 2x and 3x, those you want to kind of group together, and there's a -8 and there's a +1, you want to group those together and simplify. I'm not doing anything to both sides. I'm not going to subtract 2x, add 8, minus 3x, or subtract 1. I'm not doing that yet. So what you guys just did is the last step. So if you see yourself doing that first, something's wrong. If the first thing you do is add and subtract both sides, something is wrong. The first thing you want to do is just simplify. So we have 2x plus 3x, which is 5x. Right? I didn't subtract 2x and get 1x. I didn't subtract 3x and get -1x. I just did 2 plus 3. They're on the same side, so it's different. Same thing here. We got -8 and +1, which equals -7. I didn't add 8 and get 1 plus 8. I didn't subtract 1 and get -8 minus 1 and -9. It just act like the other parts were not there, and it's just negative, and it just said -8 plus 1. And then from there, you're good to go. See, from here, it's just the two-step equation you guys did on your quiz. So from there, you just continue on, add 7 to both sides, and so on. Okay, now, a little thing about here. Sometimes we get confused about zeros. Now, if you're not sure about this step, take a step back and ask yourself, what does this mean? This is asking you 5 times what equals 0. What's the answer? 0. See how fast you know the answer? If you get caught up at what's the step, and you forget about what you're actually doing, and what 5x means is multiplication, you already know what the answer is. You might get lost though if you get caught up in steps. So that must mean 0 divided by 5 equals 0. So we get a little confused sometimes about what equals 0 and what's undefined and things like that. So just know that if you have the constant equals 0 and any variable, like if this was 121x equals 0, you already know the answer is 0 because the only way to multiply and get 0 is for the answer to be 0. So this number is highly irrelevant. It's just that if this equals 0, you know you got an answer at 0. Okay? So that's one of them. Anything else that stood out for you guys? Number 7. The next one. Okay. So let's look at 7. This one? Yes. See over here. Alright, so same thing before. I see is 6x, a -2x, and a -4x. So that's first. They're all on the same side. I'm not going to add 4x. I'm not going to add 2x. I'm not going to subtract 6x. They're on the same side. So I just add, see, 6 minus 2 is 4, and 4 minus 4 is 0. So we're left with 0x plus 7. That comes down, and then this part equals 7. So, and 0 times x is just 0. We don't usually write that. So we have 7 equals 7. No variables. So what does that mean? All right. So this means every single number is an answer. So if we went and did a check, every single number would actually work. And when that happens, we say it's all real numbers. All real numbers. So the key here is not that it's 7. The number doesn't matter. It's the fact that these are the same. If those are the same number, whether it's 7, -7, 0 equals 0, triangle equals triangle, doesn't matter. It's the fact that it's the same on both sides of the equal sign. That's how you know it's all real solutions, all real numbers sometimes. Okay, so the same is what makes it that, not the number. And opposite of that, you'll come across them when they're different. So what happens if they're different numbers? Two numbers are different, you can tell the difference between the two. So other than that, you can see down at the bottom, the answers are all there. So if you get an answer that doesn't match the bottom, you know something's wrong. Okay. Any others that you want to take a look at? Yeah.
Number 9.
9. Okay. Now the fact that there are parentheses here does not really change the problem because it's all adding subtracting, except for right here. You got to make sure you see this as subtraction. Adding a negative is the same as just subtracting. Okay. So you can replace any. I'm going to add a negative. That's the same thing as a negative. Right? And you guys know a negative times a negative is a negative. It's the same thing adding subtracting. If you add a negative, it's subtraction. Little did you know back in the first grade or second grade when you started subtracting, you were actually adding negatives. It's the exact same operation. So let's go ahead and highlight 1 plus 3 minus 2. And what's 1 plus 3 minus 2? 4 minus 2, so we get 2x. And then we'll go through and do 1 minus 4, which is negative 3. And then from there, we can act as normal, and do the same step as always. Add 3 to both sides. Add 3 to both sides, divide both sides by 2, and your x equals 2 times what is 10? And you get 5. But still prove it, write all your steps down, just like that. Okay? So you see how this color thing works? Use your highlighters. Use color pencils. If you tried this, you didn't get this answer, and you saw me, all I did is I used color. I didn't use fancy math or some new technique. I just color coded it, and it made it a lot easier. So we're not trying to make this too difficult and overthink it, but keep it simple. So color pencils, highlighters, just go through and highlight the X's, go through a different color, highlight the numbers. It'll make it a little easier, okay? And that's all you really need to focus on, and we'll see you tomorrow.